definitely those are, I think, the top three quarterbacks in this draft. I mean, Fernando Mendoza's pick one. I think Ty Simpson has definitely solidified himself as a first round pick and that QB2 spot. And then Carson Beck, I really do like as like a mid to early third round pick, maybe a late second for a quarterback needy team. But I do think Carson Beck, if he can polish up a little bit, because he does still have a couple of things that he can definitely polish up on. Whether it's the deep ball that he can definitely polish up on a little bit. I think if he can fix it, he definitely lost a step after having his UCL surgery. He definitely lost a step with his throw power, but he can definitely still sling that rock. So if he can kind of adjust maybe his motion to give himself a little bit of a boost in his throw power, he can definitely solidify himself as a potential starting quarterback in the NFL. But no, there's been like this combine was crazy. There's so many amazing players coming out of this draft. So many athletic freaks. Mike Washington, running back for Arkansas. I mean, I know I've been talking about Arkansas a little bit with him and Taylor Green, but Mike Washington ran, I believe it was a 4.33 40. And because of that, he's probably going to, I mean, him between that and the other drills that he did, he's definitely boosted his draft stock a little bit because he was probably going to be sitting around that like fourth or fifth round. And he's probably jumped himself into like the late third round on a day 2 pick just from how athletic he is. He's huge. I mean, I don't have his numbers right in front of me either, but no, he ran really well at the combine, and he knew after running his 40, after running that 4.33, he literally just broke down in tears because he realized he's like, I just really helped myself and my family by doing what he just did. So huge shout out to Mike Washington. Hope you definitely get drafted high. I think you definitely can. And we were talking about this. I can't remember if it was before the show or just right at the start of it. Him potentially being paired up with Jahmyr Gibbs in Detroit could be a very fun duo here. I do like that a lot. I think it'd be a lot of fun. But I do think with him being as much of like a in between the tackles type, like speedster-ish running back, they don't want to basically have like a budget Jahmyr Gibbs on their roster when they have Jahmyr Gibbs. So I think having him maybe go to like Pittsburgh, just so that way he can be paired up with Jalen Warren, I think would be a lot of fun. I think that'd be actually a really good running back duo between him and Jalen Warren. Shout out to Earl. Let me know if you agree with that. I think that'd be a lot of fun. But no, man, there's so many crazy players. Even to the wide receiver for Texas A&M, whose name I cannot remember off the top of my head right now. He ran the fastest 40 time at the combine. He's like 5'9" and 180 pounds, and he ran 4.26 40. One of the fastest, combine speeds we've seen. He's probably like, because I've seen a lot of comps and a lot of notes about him specifically. There's a lot of questions as to how good of an actual receiver he's going to be, and more questioning if he can kind of fit himself into like a return specialist type player. Whether so I think more so where he's going to get drafted is not necessarily going to be a higher pick. I think he's probably going to sit around that 5th round type range, but I do think he's definitely going to become a pretty solid returnman in the NFL, whether it be on punts or on kickoffs. Just from his blazing speed, if he can be developed as such, I think he definitely has got a long career ahead of him when it comes to, I mean, just alone on the size and speed. He's a very compact speedster receiver, which a lot of teams really do like. They want that field stretching type receiver. That's why we see a lot of these guys get drafted or traded for, like we see with Rashid Shaheed just this last year getting traded for by the Seattle Seahawks, and then they win the Super Bowl partially because of the explosiveness that he brought both on special teams and on the offensive side of the ball as well, just from his downfield stretching ability. But I'm really excited to see what a lot of these players go. I think there's a lot of fantastic players in this draft. Another guy we've seen a lot of questions about was Caleb Banks, just because he D-tackle out of Florida. There's a lot of teams that are defensive tackle needy in this draft, and he's definitely kind of boosted himself up a lot from his combine. There was a lot of questions surrounding him, largely because he doesn't have a ton of starting experience, but it's more so because he was injured very early on last year. He only played 3 games for Florida last year, got hurt very early on, missed the rest of the season. And so